burlap, which is not very expensive to hook your work through.
How much does burlap usually cost?
$15 a yard.
Okay.
Or you can get it even cheaper sometimes. Or you can go and you can find burlap sacks or buy burlap other places for even $5 a yard.
Okay. Okay.
And you don't have to use wool. You can use t-shirt material, sweatshirt material, fleece, whatever materials that have a little bit of give to them, so you can pull them through easily.
Okay.
The hooks are basically just crochet hooks with a handle. You can make your own handles with Fimo. Just get a crochet hook and add some Fimo to it, mold it to your hand, bake it, and you have a crochet hook.
Okay. Okay. What you're hooking with?
The frame itself?
No, not the frame, but the actual fabric.
This fabric?
Yes.
That I'm using is 100% wool fabric, and all of
it looks
this,
like it could be like a flannel shirt.
Could be flannel shirts, plaid skirts, plaid pants, plaid jackets, plain jackets. This was a plain jacket that was purchased at Value Village.
Okay.
Wool is best because you can shrink it. You have to wash it and agitate it to shrink the fibers so that they will hold together when you cut them into strips. If it won't shrink and you cut it into strips, it falls apart.
Okay.
So it has to be a type of fiber that will hold together. T-shirt material, of course, will hold together, and anything else, swimming suit material, anything stretchy will generally hold together.
Okay. So basically, someone who wanted to do this but doesn't have a large budget can go to a Salvation Army, a secondhand store, pick up some clothes, cut the material up, and start hooking.
You can also use nylons.
Okay.
You can use yarn. Anything that your imagination will let you do. I've seen people hook with plastic bags.
Plastic bags? Wow. Okay.
I've seen people cut up chip bags and pull them through. Anything that's going to add a nice texture. And and you can draw your own designs. The pioneers did that. They would. A lot of them didn't know how to draw, but they put things that were of interest to them. Some did flowers, some did dogs, some did houses on their designs.
And what inspired you for this piece?
This one, a group of people and I got together. There are 20 of us, and each of us had a plaid that we shared with all the others. Okay. And we were then to design our own rugs and put a piece of the plaid in, sew it in, and then hook around it so that you can see what the plaid looks like after it's been hooked.
Okay, that's very nice.
Now, I did houses, tessellations, so they go this way and this way, and somebody else might do rectangles or circles or squares or something with their... I haven't seen the others yet. Okay.
So you said that earlier that you started in 2001. So basically you've been rug hooking for 9 years. 9 years is not really a long time to master something like this.
I have done a lot of rug hooking.
Okay.
And I love to do it. I do about 3 hours a day at least. I get up early in the morning and drink my coffee and have my rug hooking in front of me and just do my thinking in the morning. And in the evening, after supper, after dinner's done and the dishes are all done, I sit down and we have the TV on, my husband reads, and I sit and I rug hook with the TV on. It's just very relaxing.
Okay. And these bags back here, you said that you created those?
Yes, I designed the pattern and I hooked them and I put them together. I purchased the handles. The handle on the poppy one is actually a belt from Value Village. Okay. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on handles. Okay. And you don't really have to spend a lot of money to do this if you want to create. Okay.
Now, what exactly would you say to a child that is interested in exploring another medium besides a pen and a pencil? What would make this attractive to a young person?
First, you have to bring the materials to them. Lots of color, lots of textures, and show them, okay, what do you think we could do with all these colors and textures and fibers? And let's try and experiment with it. You can draw me a picture on a piece of paper, what you could do with this, with all these fibers, and then have them draw a picture on a piece of paper, and say, okay, now we'll transfer this piece of paper design onto a piece of burlap for you, and then you can try pulling loops, following your lines, and see what it looks like with all the fibers in your drawing.
Would you suggest for a child what size would you suggest for them to start with?
Well, you have to get a hoop that will fit what they're going to do.
A hoop? What do you mean?
Now,
like?
This is not a hoop. This is actually a gripper frame, and it's very expensive.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to afford that.
Oh, so
but if you know what an embroidery hoop looks like.
Yes.
Well, it's similar to an embroidery hoop, a little bit bigger. You can buy 10-inch, 12-inch hoops to put the burlap in. So the piece of burlap would have to be big enough to go into a 12-inch hoop. So you'd start with a burlap that was maybe this 14 inches square and put it in the hoop. And so the pattern would have to fit inside this 12-inch.
Okay.
So a piece maybe 8 by 8, 10 by 10 would be a good size to start.
Good.
Not too overwhelming. You have to have something small that they can feel, okay, I can finish this in a few days.
Okay.
Or they get disinterested and just say, I can't do it, and walk away.
Okay.
It has to be something they can do in a few days.
In a few days, okay. And last but not least, why do you think it's important for children to take on different crafts? And just crafts and arts in general? Crafts and arts in general, I think, stimulate the brain. And if you're doing something creative, it makes you think. And if you're thinking along these lines, your brain will also work in other ways too.